stopping by Angel Gilding. I'm Alex, and today we are going to be showing you how we silver these glass ornaments. So Alicia, how many times have you made a mirror before?
0.
0, okay. So this is your first time. And how old are you?
10.
What grade are you in? 5th grade. Okay, so Alicia and I are both going to make an ornament, and we thought this would be a fun way to show you pretty much how straightforward the process is and to have a little bit of fun. So we'll take you through the process. Please do keep in mind that we're not going to go into as much of the specific details about this process as we do in our other blown glass video, so certainly take a look at that. And then if you had any questions, you could always put those in the comments below. But what do you think? Do you think we're ready to get started?
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we've got our gloves. You got your gloves on, ready to go. Okay, and now Alicia, the reason that we're wearing gloves is for 2 different reasons. One is that we are working with chemicals, and certainly this is a process that I wouldn't recommend a kid do on their own. You always want to make sure that you have an adult that's very familiar with the process on hand, but we are working with some chemicals. The silver can stain, so we want to make sure we protect our hands from that. But then also, you know how you can have a fingerprint? Maybe you see a fingerprint on a piece of glass. Well, if we got those fingerprints on the glass, then the silver wouldn't be able to stick because the natural oils from our hands would interact with that. So the gloves protect from that as well. And then our first step here is going to be cleaning. Now we're cleaning the inside. You know, all of the silvering is going to be happening on the inside of our piece, so we need to start out by first cleaning it. Okay, so now we are set up for our mirroring process, and the first step is going to be to get all of our chemicals ready. So the first chemical we're going to be working with is our tin for silver. Have you heard of tin before? No? Okay. It's a kind of metal, and the tin is actually what's going to form the bond between the silver and the glass. And this is a concentrated chemical, so that means that we've got to dilute it with some of our distilled water. What do you think? Does that look like it's right at the line? A bit more?
Yeah.
That's good. So we've got our tin all measured out and ready to go. And the timing is important for this, so that's why we're doing all of our measuring now so that we have everything ready for us. Next up is going to be the silvering chemicals. We've got the 3 different chemicals, and these are what we call ready to use, which means we don't need to dilute them with any more water. They're good to go. So we've got the silver solution, and this is the one that actually has the silver metal in it. So you can't really tell, right? It looks like it's just a clear liquid. And so we manufacture these chemicals and we make it so that it actually has the true silver in it, the same kind of silver as you would use to make a necklace. And then next up is the reducer, and the reducer is what breaks the silver out of it. Kind of pulls the silver out of the solution and it breaks it into the fine particles so that those fine particles can stick on the tin, and then the tin sticks on the glass. And then the activator is what's going to regulate how that chemical reaction happens, right? Because we want it to happen fast enough that it deposits on the glass, but not too fast, right? Because then it might just develop in our cup, or it wouldn't give us a nice even silver finish. So this process was actually invented over 100 years ago. And this is the same kind of process that's used to make like a mirror that you might have at home in your bathroom or something like that. So same kind of idea, but broken down into a scale where we can do it ourselves for, you know, any kind of glass piece. And then we've got here just a bucket. This is just because we need to collect the wastewater. You know, we talked about how we have tin, we have silver, there's some heavy metals in this, so there's a special way that we have to handle that wastewater. We couldn't just put it down the sink because that wouldn't be good for the, you know, the water systems. So we have a kit that comes in this kit that treats all of that. So we have our pieces and they've been cleaned, and then we rinsed with the distilled water. So the next step is going to be to put some of the tin solution in. You've got your foam ready to go? Okay. So I'm going to just pour some here, and then you'll do the same thing. Just pour a good amount. Yeah, that looks good. And then just like you did with the cleaning, you'll take your foam, cover that opening, and then I'm going to start the timer. We want to do this for about 30 seconds. And while it's in there, you got it? Okay, so while it's in there, you just want to move it around. You don't have to do it really forcefully or really hard, because it's not like that's going to make it stick better. You just want to make sure that the chemical has the opportunity to hit everywhere on the glass. Because remember, the tin is kind of like the glue. It's what's holding the silver to the piece. So if the glass doesn't have the tin on it, then it can't really get a good silver finish on it. Do you think you've got a good coverage there? Okay, so when you feel like you've got it pretty well coated and you've had about 30 seconds, we'll stop our timer, and then you just pour that into our waste bucket. And now we need to rinse, and we've got to rinse it really, really well, because the tin that we want to have is already on the glass. But if there's extra tin, then the silvering, when we put those chemicals in there, it's going to stick to the extra tin instead of our piece. So it won't be a really nice even finish. So now on to the silvering chemicals. We need to measure these out. So we have all three, and we need to measure equal parts. So I'll take this silver and you do the reducer. So once we mix all three of these chemicals together, the chemical reaction is going to start happening, so the silver is going to start coming out of that solution. So what you do is you take both the cups in your hands, and then you just pour them together, just a little bit. Yeah. Slosh them back and forth between the cups. Okay. And then you're going to squeeze the cup a little bit to kind of make it easier to pour it in. And then you're going to pour it into your glass globe. Okay. I'm going to start the timer. This takes about 3 to 5 minutes, but you can see how it's already starting to get a little bit dark. Remember, all the chemicals by themselves were just completely clear, right? But you slosh it around. See, if you look at mine, it's already starting to get kind of a mirror reaction, and yours too. And this is where you don't have to do it really fast, and you don't have to do it hard, but you do want to make sure that the whole piece gets well silvered, which means the chemicals slosh all around. And however that's comfortable for you to do it in your hands is fine. And it's going to start out looking dark like this. See, this almost looks like sunglasses, right? It looks dark. But the more we do it, the more silver is going to put itself onto the glass, and the darker it gets. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes for us. Do you think, is yours pretty good? You ready? Happy with how it is? Okay, so now you're just going to tip it out. And look at all that. That wastewater wasn't clear anymore, right? Okay, and then we are going to rinse it. So if you want to use that distilled water again. Okay, so this rinse, what it's doing is just any of the extra silver that didn't deposit on the glass, we don't need it anymore. And if we left it on there, it might, tarnish the silver. So we just want to do a quick rinse just to get that extra off. It's almost clear? Okay, well that's a really good sign to know that it's rinsed out really well. So what do you think? Take a look. Are you pretty happy with it? Now, how many times have you done silvering before this? 0 times, that's right. So, if you take the time and you follow the measurements and you follow the instructions, it's pretty straightforward. So the last things we need to do to finish it off is that we would just tilt it to let it drain out and to let that inside dry. So you can kind of take a paper towel or something like that, just tilt it so that it's dripping out. We are pretty much done. So what do you think, Alicia? Was it pretty easy for you to do?
Yep.
Was it fun?
Yes.
Did you learn something?
Yep.
Excellent. Well, if you have any questions for us, what do you think they should do if they have questions?
Comment down below.
Comment down below. And what should they do so that they can see more videos? Subscribe. And where can they go on the internet to find out more information about our company? Our website. That's right, angelgilding.com. So thanks for stopping by.